The pick is in.
The Chicago Bears have made a selection in the 2024 NFL Draft. Alongside Locked On College Football host Spencer McLaughlin, I'm Tenitra Batiste, and we're joined by Lauren Cox of Locked On Bears to break down the Bears selecting Caleb Williams with the number 1 pick. So, Lauren, Caleb Williams' numbers may not have shown it in his junior year, but obviously the 2022 Heisman Trophy winner has the goods. What's the biggest strength he brings to this Bears offense?
Yeah, I think it starts first and foremost with the playmaking ability to be able to go off script and make magic happen when everything seems to be breaking out. But like specifically playmaking with his arm, because the Bears had playmaking ability at the quarterback position, but it was a little bit more focused on playmaking with the legs at that point. But Caleb almost stubbornly stays in the pocket, sometimes too long, to try and extend these plays and make something happen. And sometimes it can be a detriment when he tries to do a little bit of too much. But I think I'd rather have a quarterback who wants to do a little bit too much for his team than maybe not quite enough for his team. And he can be honed in exactly where you want him to be that kind of special passer that Chicago has really never had at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and when you think about that, what's the biggest thing offensive coordinator Shane Waldron will have to work on maybe to get Williams ready to be QB1 in game 1?
Yeah, I think it's about toning down some of that hero ball play, like not playmaking. You don't want to make him timid or scared or afraid to pull the trigger. I think they kind of overcorrected that with Justin Fields a little bit too, but like reminding him that he doesn't have to do everything. You know, at USC, his defense was giving up 35 points a game for a long stretch there. So he always felt like, man, I had to score more. I have to do more. I have to make this play here for my team. I got to put my receivers in position. But the Bears are in a spot here in Shane Waldron's offense where they can say, listen, you've got Keenan Allen, you've got DJ Moore, you've got Cole Kmet, you've got DeAndre Swift in the backfield. Let your playmakers make plays. And when you have to do something great, be yourself and do that, but don't feel like you have to do everything for these guys. We are more of a team effort here in this offense, and we can make your life much easier.
Indeed. Now, of course, there was no shock with this pick, Lauren, but just out of curiosity, were there any last minute rumblings about the possibility of the Bears maybe trading the pick away?
No, this has been locked in, I think, for longer than we realize too. Like, this is a process, certainly by the NFL Combine, the Bears were 100% in on Caleb Williams. After the Combine, Caleb didn't give every team medical testing, but he did give the Bears some of his medicals at the Combine, and it was enough for them to say, all right, we're good to go. This is our guy. And then it's just been dotting their I's and crossing their T's up to that point. But this process started back in January when they were interviewing his quarterbacks coach, Cliff Kingsbury, as the Bears offensive coordinator, grilling him about what Caleb Williams was like. They go to the Senior Bowl and they're asking his USC and Oklahoma teammates, hey, what is Caleb Williams like? They've really been hyper-focused on Caleb and looking for any reason to disqualify him or any reason to want to pick someone else. And everywhere along the way, it is all aligned toward this pick defining the franchise.
Indeed. For more on the Bears, subscribe to Locked On Bears on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Spencer. Again, this was no shock to anybody that Caleb Williams went number 1, but how has the Caleb Williams experience with Lincoln Riley, especially during his days at USC, maybe prepared him to be QB1 for the Bears?
Well, he's used to having to do a lot, and I think that when you have a defensive head coach in Matt Eberflus and a defensive culture in Chicago, that's going to be a change for Caleb Williams. He's got a first-year OC in Chicago and Shane Waldron, who's been with the Seahawks for the last couple of seasons. I'm curious to see culturally how that all kind of works out and what they want him to do, what they want that offense to look like, because this is a guy who has the entire tool set. He can do anything that you ask of him. He can go under center. He can bootleg, play from the pocket, downfield, outside the numbers, over the middle. I think you heard Lauren hit on it a little bit. Getting him to play quarterback and be willing to take what is there, I think is going to be a little bit of an adjustment. And also understanding, hey, you're in the NFL now. You can't run away from every defensive lineman. You can't beat that linebacker to the edge. I think those are adjustments that he's going to have to make, but this guy gets compared to Patrick Mahomes, and with good reason. He has every physical tool to be a great quarterback.
For continuing coverage of the 2024 NFL Draft, subscribe to Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.